Good afternoon. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as we get to ride home together. And thank you again so much for the text and the emails. You can send any ideas for shows or something you'd like me to do a little research. I'll be glad to do that for you. Just send an email to donna@donnasedge.com. You know, you can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast down there, the newscasters.com. That's really where truth matters. You'll find some awesome talk show hosts there as well. We're going to talk about health today, and one of those is how you cook, and also what are beans about, by the way. You know, we don't eat enough, and I like to raise my own. And so one thing Phil and I like to do, we do black-eyed peas, and we also do green beans, all those wonderful beans. And as far as, now the green beans, I love to can those. I can them French-style green beans, and they're just really good. You can saute them, you do whatever you want with them. But I like dried beans, and dried beans are really easy to raise in your garden. All you have to do is just let your peas or your beans, your limas or whatever, let them stay on the vines. And then when they start turning dark and you know they're ready to go on ahead and pick, and they're really easy to shell, they're really easy to take out of the pods that way as well. And it's just something that's really good, heart healthy for you. So we're going to talk about how to cook those. So Phil bought me an Instapot, and I am absolutely loving it because dried beans, there's a process, and it takes a while to cook, but not in an Instapot. And we're going to go through that process in just a few minutes. But before we do that, let's talk about beans and why they're so good for your health. If you're a vegetarian especially, you need to be eating beans. So beans do have a lot of fiber. They're a great source of fiber. That's important because most Americans don't get the recommended 25 to 38 grams per day. Helps keep you regular, and also seems to protect against heart disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, digestive illness. Navy beans have about 19 grams of fiber per cup. Just add a little bit of that smoked turkey and kale and onions and carrots for a very healthy soup. Lots of protein. We've all talked about the protein. Beans are a great way to get low fat, by the way, low calorie protein that already has the fiber and carbs mixed in. So it's 2 in 1 there. Now that's 2 to 3 times more than rice or wheat. It's especially good for protein building block called lysine that you may not get enough of if you are a vegetarian. Cook a savory, protein-rich vegetation stew with lentils. Those are really good too. Onions, carrots, tomatoes, and chili powder. And another thing I wanted to mention as far as preparation for beans, if you dry the beans, first of all, it's going to take up less shelf space. And they're just going to last longer. You don't have to worry about them going, and I can beans, I love to do that. But for the most part, I go ahead and I dry them out. And by the way, when you're drying them, if there's only one wet one in there, it's going to ruin the whole thing. Make sure they are completely dried. So what I do before, I put them up in a jar, and also use a contraption that takes out the oxygen. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show as well. But if you'll just do that, they're going to last longer. They'll last for years. And so, again, it's healthy for you. But I wanted to mention this, and I find this really interesting. Beans keep you at a healthy weight, and it really does make sense. So think about this. If you make a habit to eat beans, you're more likely to have a lower body weight, slimmer waist, and a lower body mass index, the BMI. And studies show that obese men on a protein-rich diet lost more weight with beans as their top protein source. Try a nourishing, low-fat, spicy kidney bean chili as a main course instead of meat. And then we'll talk one more, and then we'll get on with how to cook these things. Okay, you'll get and this is for your heart health. You'll do your ticker a favor if you make beans a regular part of your diet. Studies show it can lower your LDL, that's the bad cholesterol. For a healthy, heart-healthy food option, try a simple salad made from beets, beans, and greens. I mean, it's awesome. So if you raise your own kale, you're way up there. You're on the way. You absolutely are. Let's go on ahead and we'll go into the first video. And so I made this in my kitchen, and so we'll be talking about black-eyed peas and how you start, okay? Okay, so I'm back. So for Christmas, Phil said, what do you want for Christmas? And I said, I want an Instapot. I absolutely love this. So it's New Year's Day, and you know, everybody wants to have some black-eyed peas. So I have this really good recipe for black-eyed peas using the Instapot, and the beans are always tender. Now, dried beans, I dry my beans out in the garden. And first of all, it saves a whole lot of time. When I dry the beans, they are easier to take out of the pods, and it's just an easy process. Plus, we like the thick soup of the dried beans. Okay, so what you want to do overnight, you want to go in ahead and get some dried beans, and you want to put them in water and let them soak overnight. Then you want to rinse them really well. And these are going to be so good, and it's only going to take just a few minutes for this to process. Now what I want to do is, it's just a different take, okay? So I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. I have set this for saute. Make sure that it is on saute. And well, let's see, there we go. Saute, there we go. And so we'll let it heat just a little bit, but I'm going to add just a little bit of olive oil, probably just a couple tablespoons. As you see, my big pan here of olive oil. I cook a lot with olive oil, and it's so super good for you as well. Now, in another video, I actually actually dried, used the dehydrator for some onions, and I like to use, I'll do two different kinds of onions. I do some that are regular light color, but I also like to leave a few extra to be a little dry. I've not added anything to it. It just adds this awesome flavor to anything you cook. So I'm going ahead and put those in there as well. And it is going to add this flavor that it's just really awesome. Okay, and I don't waste anything, so there we go. Let's put some more in there. And I love to use my wooden spoon. I've had this thing for years. I should probably throw it away, but I just can't part from it. I like the way it kind of goes in an angle like that, and it's really, really good when you're cooking. Okay, so I'm going to saute these onions, and just for a few seconds. And I like to cook them a little bit sauteed, and it just adds an extra dimension of flavor to it. Now, while I'm waiting on that to happen, or while I was waiting on it to happen, I went on ahead and got some of this bacon, and I like to keep it in the freezer. I buy it when it's on sale, and so I keep these in one of those, it's a bag that I use my machine for, and it eliminates any air. And so I like to take it out of the freezer while it's still frozen, and then I go ahead and cut the bacon up just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and I'll end this part of the video, and then I'll be right back in just a few minutes after the onions have sauteed and they're kind of like a little caramel-like color, and I'll be right back in just a few minutes. Okay, so that's the start of it. So then we're going to do video number 2, and it's really short. It's less than a minute, and then we'll get ready to go into a commercial break. So we'll be right back in just a minute, but let's look at video 2. Okay, so I've sauteed the onions, and they smell really good. Again, these are onions I used in the dehydrator. So I went on ahead and I sliced the bacon, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in there right now. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cook the bacon, and I'll bring this right back in just a few minutes. The recipe that I follow, I vary it, and I don't like to leave the bacon grease in here. So once I get through cooking the bacon, and again, I put that on the saute part of the Instant Pot, but when I get that cooked, I'll go ahead and come back in, okay? And I'll go ahead and drain the bacon grease because I just don't want a bunch of grease in my beans. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so we're now down to the browning stage, and you can see what I'm talking about. This is what I want it to look like. So just a few seconds of this, and what I'm going to do, by the way, I'm going to drain some of the grease out. It's good to leave it in there if you want the flavor. I just prefer to take some of that out. And then what I'll do is go ahead and pour the beans in, and I'm going to give you a secret ingredient. I'll be right back in a minute. Okay, so we're now down. Okay, so we've talked about the health of beans, and we're in the process of cooking beans right now. I'm showing you how to do that through the Instant Pot. But I found this information from WebMD.com. And again, I'm selling you on the idea of eating healthy. I really am. You really need to do this. Number 5, a good food. Beans are a good food for diabetes control. My granddad was a diabetic, and he had to take the shots, and this was terrible. And this was in the early 80s, and I remember thinking about, I want to make sure I never get diabetes, because first of all, he didn't take the shots when he was supposed to, and he just really didn't look out after himself. And I saw all the torture and pain that he went through by having diabetes. But listen to this. So eating beans, a good food for diabetes control. Eating a variety of beans not only seems to help prevent diabetes, but it also appears to help control the high blood sugar that is both a cause and a symptom of the disease. So steam some fresh green beans. Those are really super good. So steam some fresh green beans with a sprinkle of salt and a touch of olive oil for a delicious summerside dish. You put some onions in there too. That's super good. One more, then we'll go into a commercial break. So I wanted to mention this. The beans are also a great source of iron. And they're showing a picture here of green beans, but all beans are a good source of iron. So your body actually uses that iron in the bloodstream. So let's go ahead and get back to it. Okay, take just a few seconds. Lost it there. And here we go. Okay, your body uses iron to make blood proteins that help move oxygen around your body. It's also a key element, also a key nutrient for your hormones and connective tissues like tendons and ligaments. So a cup of soybeans has almost 9 milligrams. You can cook soybean pods in salted boiling water. Eat them warm straight out of the pod. So good for you. Let's go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a minute. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. Okay, we're back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching us every day, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget that podcast right there, thenewscasters.com. We're talking about beans and bean health. It's so good for you. You can find all of the information I'm giving you right here on webmd.com. That's webmd.com. We haven't finished cooking the beans yet, but let's go ahead and talk about a little bit more about the health part of eating beans. They provide magnesium. And by the way, beans are probably one of the lowest priced products you can buy at the grocery store. You can go to the Dollar Tree, if nothing else, and buy a 1 pound bag for $1.25. And you can get several meals out of that one bag right there. Magnesium helps make protein and bone and stabilizes your blood sugar. We're talking about blood sugar again. Black beans are particularly a good source at 120 milligrams in a single cup. That's about a third of the recommended daily amount. Try the tried and true combination of black beans and rice. Oh, there's nothing like black beans and rice, and it's really easy to make. You can add a bit of shredded chicken and some lettuce and salsa for a delicious, healthy lunch. Don't go out to eat, not when you can do all this kind of stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next video, and I believe that is going to be part 4. So we're going to head and look down here really, really quick. So good. Okay, now we're ready to go ahead and put the beans in the pot. So I went on ahead and I turned it off because I don't want saute going on right now. I just want the beautiful browning part again of the bacon. So let's just go on ahead and pour the beans in. And by the way, with the beans, I also have in here about 5 cups of water. So listen to that sizzling sound. Doesn't it sound beautiful? Oh, I love the sound of that. Okay, so we're going ahead and put the beans in. I'm not going to put it on pressure cook yet because I want to add a few ingredients and then put the lid on it. And that is beautiful. I love the way that looks. Okay, so I'm going to add about a half teaspoon of garlic powder. This is some of my garlic powder from the garden. And went on ahead and put that in the dehydrator. Then I put it in the coffee grinder. And that made all the difference in the world. Okay, now I'm going to go in ahead and add a little bit of rice. Okay, and that's just a little flavor packet that I had. And by the way, make your own flavor packets. They turn out great. Okay, now for the secret ingredient, I'm going to add, as you know, this is some of the orange peel that I've done. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. And I put this in almost everything. So let's get my tablespoon, and I'm going to add about a tablespoon of orange zest powder. Again, this was dried in the dehydrator, and then I threw it in also the coffee grinder. Now make sure you use the grinder part of it, okay, and just like you would if you were grinding coffee. Okay, now what I'm going to do at this point, I need to put just a bit of pepper. Just a little bit. Now I'm not going to add salt in here yet because I'm going to wait until it's finished, and then I'll add salt after this is done, because remember, bacon has a lot of salt in it, so I may not have to put very much. Now, we're using a total of 6 cups of water. Okay, we're going to go ahead and give it a good stir. I like that. Now, for the fun part of pressure cooking, I know this freaks everybody out. Pressure cooking, because everybody has a grandmother or an aunt or maybe your own mother, like my own mother. And what she did, let me turn this around so I can kind of get to it. Who probably, it goes the other way, who probably exploded something in the kitchen. Okay, now see where it says close and open. So I've got it closed, have it closed all the way on this side, okay? Now, next thing I want to do is make sure that there's a vent and there's also a seal on here. So I want it on vent. Then what I'm going to do is go ahead and set the pressure cook right here, and I'm putting it on high, and I want it to be on for 30 minutes. So let's go ahead and set this for 30 minutes. This is the easiest cooking you will ever do. Then what you want to do is press the start button and walk away from it. Don't worry about it. The Instapot does everything for you. Okay, so there you go. We'll come back in just a few minutes once everything is done. Okay, so here we are at the final stage of the black-eyed peas. And this is in the Instapot. So what I'm going to do, I've let it set for about 10 minutes after the pressure cook. And you can see the seal is up, so that's a good sign. Let's go ahead and press the vent, and you're going to see a little steam come out of it as well. Okay. That means we're in good shape. Now you can probably hear it, and I can see it at this point. I'm not sure if you can see with the camera, but anyway, the steam is escaping, so that means that we're just about ready to go. So as soon as it lets out just a little bit more, let's see what the beans look like. And I'll tell you what, it smells good in here too. Alright, so here's the lid. So let's just go ahead and pull this. And see, this shows to open to go this way. Close, you go the other way. So we're going to open it. So here we go. And I can't wait to see what it looks like. Oh my goodness. Look at those beans. And I'll have to tell you, it smells really good. And that's what you get with pressure cooking with the Instapot. Now let's go ahead and grab a spoon. And let's just stir it just a little bit. And see that you can make the soup just a little bit thicker. And as it stands, as it sits, it is going to be a little bit thicker. But take a look at those black-eyed peas. I don't think I'm going to have to add any salt. Because again, I put the bacon in it. I did drain the grease out of the bacon, but take a look at that. Doesn't that look good? It's scrumptious. All right, I'm going to take a little quick taste and see if I need to add any salt to it at all. I just want some of the soup. Wouldn't that be on some good? Be really, really good on some cornbread. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit. No salt. This is perfect, just like it is. Okay, thank you so much for watching. And so that's the Instapot and black-eyed peas. Try some. It's real easy to do. So one thing I did also after I cooked the beans, Phil likes his bean soup just a little bit thick. So I added about a tablespoon of cornstarch and put that in just a little bit of warm water, like I don't know, about a quarter cup of warm water. And then I did give it a really good stir. And because you don't want any little lumps or anything, but that's why I use cornstarch instead of flour. And then I put some of that in there, and it really did thicken up the soup. So he really, really loved that with his greens today, and his ham. So I think that turned out pretty good. Okay, we're talking about beans and bean health. We talked about potassium a little bit, or we're going to talk about potassium right now. So your body needs this stuff for almost everything, including your heart, kidneys, muscles, and nerves. Now, the beans have quite a bit of potassium, especially lima beans, which give you almost 1,000 milligrams per cup. That's about double of what you get from a banana. You know, we always hear bananas get all of the big pep about that. It's the beans. Okay, also, they're loaded with zinc. You know, when COVID was hitting, you know, everywhere in the year 2020, you know, everybody was freaking out saying, oh my God, we need some zinc. You got zinc in beans. So your cells need to fight off germs, make genetic material, and heal wounds. It helps children develop properly, and it aids your senses of smell and taste. A cup of chickpeas, and I did raise some chickpeas this year, also called garbanzo beans, has about 2.4 milligrams. That's about a quarter of what you need for the day. You can also make it into a dip called hummus that works as a snack or a meal within itself. Okay, so it has folate in it. So what in the world is folate? Let's talk about that. This is B vitamin, especially important for women who are pregnant or trying to have a baby because it helps prevent certain birth defects. It's also good for heart health, cell division, and your nervous system. You will get about 10 milligrams, more than 2.5 times the recommended daily amount in just 1 cup of pinto beans. It's the traditional base of the delicious refried beans. We all love our chili, don't we? And it's also used in a lot of Mexican dishes. So I'm going to urge you, first of all, you don't have to have the Instant Pot, but I'm going to tell you what, it really does come in handy, especially if you work. You raise your own food and you don't want to waste any of it, so you want it to be cooked the right way. I also made some strip steak with it and put it in some fajitas, and it turned out great. So in this pot, and I'm not trying to sell you, I'm just telling you it does a lot of different things. So you can saute in it if you really don't want to use the pressure cooker part of it, but the pressure cooker is simple and it's easy. Everybody has a mother or a grandmother or an aunt who you heard almost blew up the kitchen with a pressure cooker. It's nothing like that. If you'll go exactly like the instructions tell you on your recipes, you won't make a mess in the kitchen, I promise you. As a matter of fact, you're going to love it and you'll embrace the Instant Pot. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Hope you have a super duper awesome blessed day today. See you next time around.